everybody. Welcome back to the 100K Bankroll Challenge, where we try to turn 2,500 into 100K. We're off for a few weeks there. Came back a couple days ago. Bankroll's currently sitting at 7,600. Peak was 10,500 about 45 days into the challenge. And then we kind of dipped off a bit after that. But we've been playing better. I think we were on some pretty significant, just sort of a downswing, I guess. I don't think we were playing all that bad. I think we were bluffing a little too much at that point. And kind of getting eaten alive by the rig. But over the last, 30-something thousand hands, we have turned things around a bit. Back to playing NL100 a bunch. So we'll just take a quick peek here. Since pretty much, we did play a bit of July, but we'll just pull this up here. We're kind of recommitting to playing less tables and really focusing on just moving through the stakes. It's one thing our coaches have always said is to play 4 to 6 tables, really focus on sort of the key aspects of like hand reading and when to bluff, when not to bluff, what to value bet, when to value bet, that kind of stuff. So we're really trying to actually listen to that advice now, try to get things turned around here, keep our win rate up, and kind of just move through the tables and kind of focus sort of in on that hand reading aspect versus just kind of like mass tabling and kind of clicking buttons, which is, we have a pretty good basis for poker. So I think like even up to NL100, we could mass table, like play multi-stakes, play 15 tables and still do okay. However, that's not going to help as you move up because people will start to exploit you and kind of take advantage of you to a point. And then you're just kind of going to be staled out. Like, sure, you might be able to beat NL200 or something, but you're not going to be able to beat significantly higher stakes. And you won't be able to get out of, like, even if you kind of try to play live or this or that. Just going to check here with the kings on the 3 diamond board with no diamond. He does check. That is good for us. Now we'll go for some value. When he checks flop there, he's going to have a lot of, like, pair plus diamond. I don't think he has a ton of diamond hands, so I think we'll just block that for value again. I also don't expect him to bluff raise us very often. Raise. That's a bad turn card for him. But we will take a note of that. So anyways, that's kind of where we're at. So NL50, we're at about 14 BBs per 100 over the last roughly 30 days, over the last month and a bit. 36,000 hands, 2,500 profit, pre-rake, bit of a down tick over the last couple days. But, that's whatever, not a big deal. So minus the last 2 days, we were playing around like 15 BBs per 100. So that's pretty good. We're back to playing some shots at NL100 as well. I know our bankroll is almost at the point where we can get back to shooting NL200. And we will work on doing that. But for right now, we are kind of just getting our confidence back and kind of getting back to playing the game. So 2,000 hands, we are up 440. Run a nice little hot run there. We dipped down to, down 300 and then just kind of ran up from there. So feeling pretty good about that. And yeah, this is just going to be a quick session. We're really trying to just kind of get back to it here. Finding some time to play. It's been, it's been pretty busy here. I was gonna say, I thought I was on that wait list for the NL100 table, but we are now. So. But yeah, it'll just be a quick session today. Um, I do want to get kind of refocused here, but we have a lot real world stuff. We have a lot going on. Um, Selling my house, um, trying to build a house, and then work. We're building 3 houses, so we got a lot of stuff kind of going on here. It's been taking away a little bit from having the time to play as much as I would like. Uh, I mean, kind of is what it is, I guess. Right, we're going to value bet the ace queen here. So make sure I got this muted. I just got the stream up off to the side here. Yep. It's been a few times where I forget to do that. Okay, we're going to fold the king 4, and we are going to value bet the ace queen again on the flop. We do get 2 calls on the flop, so we'll proceed with a little bit more caution. The clubs do roll in. He's obviously playing everything suited. We can definitely get called by worse. I think I'm just going to block bet here. I don't like checking because it really opens it up for him to just like rip it in a little bit too often. Not that I necessarily think he's going to do that, but I'd rather bet myself and get called from like ace 10 type hands and worse. We do 3-bet here. Not the best of flops for us, so we'll just kind of check for now. He goes half pot. So with half pot, we have 2 overcards and a backdoor flush draw and a backdoor straight draw, so we have to call here. Not a great turn card for us. So easy playability though. We can just fold now when he barrels again. And if we picked up a 3 or a heart or an ace or a jack, then we can decide if we want to just check shove or check call it off. Okay, we'll fold the 6-4. All right, ace queen suited. Definitely raising here. And we'll iso with the queen 10. Okay, so he raises, we 3-bet, this guy cold calls. Not a great flop for us. I think being stuck in the middle, we can just let it go. If there's a heart out there, we wouldn't be folding. But being stuck in the middle with no heart, just let it go. And then we're going to block bet the queen 10 and the clubs come in. One thing to keep in mind with block betting is it is a value bet, so you have to be able to get called by worse. Otherwise, just you're just bluffing essentially. And we don't want to go that small when bluffing, obviously. So this bearded angel opens to like 2.7 pretty much as their standard. Can't fold 6-4. Okay, aces win. Ruby Jones pretty nitty, so we're definitely going to raise to him. Don't expect him to be 3-betting a proper range out of the small blind. Did I misclick limp here or something? What happened? Post. Oh, we were just big blind, eh? I guess I'll just fold. Okay, we ISO the queen 8. Okay, so Josh is just playing every hand by the looks of it. This is a board where it's going to hit a bunch of, like, both of their calling ranges. And we're going to 3-bet, get it in with the jacks. Oh, meant to click that up to 9. Did go a little big here with that. He just like snap jammers. We are going to call here. We do have an overcard and we have a double gutter. And here on the 5-6-5, we're just going to go 16, half pot, and then shove turns. If he slow played aces or kings, you know, so be it. And we'll just fold queen 8 here in the bottom left. Flat. Can't believe it didn't value it there. Interesting. So PSGO does cold 4-bet us. Honestly, I think 99% of the time we're just set mining the nines here. Because he's never doing this with like deuces to eights. He's just calling. He's not even doing it with like tens or jacks. I'm not even confident he would do it with ace king, so I think I am just going to fold there, even though it might seem like super nitty. Fold 9-7. And we raise these 10 suited, fold jack 5. Good flop. There's only like 2 bad cards in the deck. 4 was one of them. Okay, raise a7 suited. Alright, let's try 3-bet again here. That's actually a little big being in position. Should only be going to like 10 or 11. That's a bit of a mistake here. We do call the min click even with a7 suited. It's a good flop. And we are just going to be attacking here, I think. So we just have a monster. There's basically 2 options here. We can check and then fold river, or we just jam. The negative side to jamming is that this guy did like min 3-bet us. So he likely has an overpair that's not folding, and we're like 50-50 with that. But there's small chances that he will fold like overcards and stuff, or like could have a smaller draw. So I think it's probably best to just jam there versus checking back, because he's a weaker villain, and he's going to have a lot. He'll have enough random crap in his range that folds that'll kind of tip shoving there into, you know, being the significantly more plus EV play compared to just blasting it. Or sorry, compared to checking, blasting it's a lot better. Because like we have so much equity, like we had what, double gutter, spades, and ace, right? So all of those can definitely be the best hand when they come in. So we're, no matter what he has, we're basically flipping against, unless he has like top set or something like that. And even that's going to be close because we still have what, 9, 12, 13, 15. Yeah, we're still like 30% against like the absolute nuts of being like of top set kind of thing. So against pretty much his entire range, we're going to be 50-50 against if the money goes in. So by adding a bunch of fold equity, like a full pot size bet, that makes the shove significantly more plus EV than just checking back there. Back flop, yeah, we did. I'm going to value bet here with the 9 now. Okay. We just have to bet here, even with pocket eights. So now we're gonna check. We put a ton of money in on the last hand pre-flop, and then just fold it on a super low board, so we know he will fold flops. But now we'll just let this go. This villain just doesn't like to fold, so I don't really want to kind of be putting in a bunch of money in spots where I don't think he folds enough. This board, I think he's calling every five, every pocket pair, every sort of ace. Obviously, this hand maybe folds, but even this hand he might call because he's got like the back door. So yeah. Full d6. Okay, erase here. If Bearded Angel does shove, we'll just call. I think he's done this enough where he opens really, really big and then just rips it, that I don't think we can really do much but call here. Running hearts. Okay. Not today. 10 jack. Chance. Close. But that's fine. Whoa, those are crazy stats. Anyways. Not much you can do there. The guy does like raise big and then just rips it more often than you would think. So when you have ace king there, you're just calling. We do mostly 3-bet with ace four diamonds there, but we do mix some 3-bets for some calls. And we're gonna overbet here. It didn't really matter. Wow, Cappy Poker's got 750 big blinds on this table. What in the heck is going on here? That is insane. Clean Pro must have been at this table. It's the only thing that makes sense. But yeah, it didn't really matter what happened there, whether he just 4-bet and we shoved. It was all the money was going to go in. It's fine. Especially when it's an over limp over this guy, like it just seems it's just way too much. Anyways, it doesn't matter. It's just a cooler. No big deal. Can't be playing this. Yeah, okay. He is playing that tight everywhere, eh? It's interesting. I will squeeze the ace jack with Cappy Poker in the hand. We are going to 3-bet the king queen. Shovel spades might have picked up a nut hand here. Nope. Okay, calls. We're just gonna check here. No club in our hand. We're gonna raise now. Calls. It's probably too nitty to check here, but I am just gonna check here for sure. So when you see jacks though, that makes calling ace king a little bit worse. I pick up aces here. It's 3-bet small. Puts it back. I think we just stick it in at this point. Nice. Hold. Ace queen. Good hand to see. No clubs. No clubs. So he's basically dead to like 10 jack or queen queen. Next. And we got a little bit back against Bearded Angel there with the and we'll pretty happily actually show down ace high here. Yep. And I'm just gonna c-bet with king 9. Does call. He's pretty stationy villain, so I think we're just gonna give up. We do still beat like some hands, like 7-8 and stuff. Pocket eight's not one of them. He would fold probably to a double barrel. He really likes to call, so I wouldn't be confident even that he would fold eights there. So I think against certain villains who are just really, really willing to call, you kind of want to really stick to value betting over anything else. A little bit more tempting to 3-bet there with the king queen when he goes that big. With no diamond, I think we just fold that to a big bet on the flop. Crazy. When you have villains willing to just let you kind of check, 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 and realize all your equity with ace high, it's really going to be extremely sort of profitable for us. So we can happily just kind of look to show those hands, hand types down with those guys. And we are going to bet here in the jack deuce 5 against the big blind caller. Double barrel like anything, like 9x and up, pretty well. Board pairing hands, board pairing cards, that kind of stuff. He's just probably has ace king, but it's a pretty easy fold to a monster 4-bet. Uh, 10-5-10, we're definitely going to c-bet here. Really nothing else to do, especially with our specific hand. We block jack 10, we block 10-9. We do have tons of backdoor equity as well. So yeah, we slacked off a little bit. We're so close to getting monetized too. Kind of a little bit annoyed with myself, to be honest, that we kind of stopped streaming there, but we had some stuff going on. So kind of over it now. So happy to say that. You know, we just look to show down the 7s. It is tempting to value bet, but I think he doesn't bet a 9 enough, so I don't think we could value bet river. If we knew he was a villain who definitely would have value bet 9 on the turn, or at least the river, I'd be significantly more happy to value bet there. I do need to really kind of look into this 9 big blind raise. It's something villains are doing now. I think it's an adjustment to me opening wider, or like larger to 2.5, to kind of take advantage of villains not 3-betting enough. So when we do run into players who are doing it, and we're going to downsize our opening ranges, I'm going to come along here with the king deuce suited. I think I'll just check the 6-5 here. Oh, spike a set of 4s on the river. That's cool. And we're going to raise them. I'm just going to fold here with the 6-5. Again, when you're at tables like this where you got like 50 VPIP, 40 VPIP villains at it, your opening ranges are going to be tighter, and you're going to be a lot more like value heavy with your bets. And when you are like kind of barreling, you need to be willing to really barrel it, because they're going to be calling all their backdoors, all their flush draws, all their gut shots, all their like second and third pairs, all their like ace highs. They're not going to be folding when you bet, so they're going to have like an extremely wide turn range. So if you're not really going to be willing to kind of go bet, bet, bet and attack that like weak wide range, then you're better off to just check flop and bet turn, because a lot of those hands that they're going to call, if you're not willing to double barrel, right? Like obviously theoretically the better play would be, okay, if they're going to call super wide on the flop, then we'll bet flop with everything, and then we will push them off the hand on later streets when the board runs out kind of clean. But like lower stakes, a lot of villains, regs, Rex aren't willing to kind of put in those bets, so you can kind of check flop at turn when they check again, Then all of those like bottom pair, gut shotters, backdoors that they had on the flop, if they've now bricked on a turn, they'll just check fold to you. And then you can still win the pot with one bet versus trying to really attack it. Okay. He didn't 3-bet Cappy Poker pre, so it's unlikely he's going to have like pocket jack, pocket aces, ace jack, or any kind of strong range. Um, so it's going to be, I think I'll just check here. Yeah, we'll just check fold. I don't expect him to bluff here, so I think when he bets, he's going to have at least a spade every single time. And I'm just going to call on the 8. I think all our value is going to come from him bluffing for the most part. For a small raise, nice. Might get a call from ace high or deuce. Yeah. I wonder if I might have been able to go for more against the deuce, but if I shove, he folds. So, anyways, we have been considering flipping over to doing some tournament streams. They do just like they just do significantly better overall. Um, but it's just hard for us because we don't really have the time to put in like big long streams playing tournaments at nighttime. Um, so cash really does kind of just fit a bit better, but it would be nice for like one day a week or something to put in a big stream. Looks like Cappy got bearded here for a stack in a bit. But how did it happen on that hand? Okay, definitely ice of the sixes. Fold 7 through 7. King 7 versus aces, 8, 6, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Wild hand. If Cappy Poker's putting it all in, though, he's got the Niz Gizzlies. Hmm. Okay, fold the 8-4. So we're gonna go back to not really checking our results too much this week. Um, we've done that a few times. It actually feels really good. So I'm gonna try to stick to only looking at our weekly results. So it is Monday. So we're not gonna be updating the bankroll as we go through this week. So it'll be next Monday when we do update it. And hopefully we're into the 8K. We'll go back to shooting NL200, mostly in mornings because games are actually pretty soft a lot of the time in the mornings if you can get a decent seat at the table. And we are 100% squeezing king queen off from the small blind. And folding to a 4-bet. I don't think we've hit a flop yet. Unfortunately, we're just going to have to check here. It's a really bad board for our range, and he's going to have a lot of pocket pairs that are not going to be willing to fold here. Yeah, I think we just check. Snap checks back. Interesting. Doesn't 3-bet. I mean, we do beat some random hands, but like that call is almost always going to be a small pocket pair. Pre-flop, 9s. Wow. All right, so he's like super nitty with 3-bets. Fold the ace 8. fold the 8-6. Okay. So I think we're gonna end the stream here. I gotta get going, unfortunately. But yeah, so hopefully you guys keep watching, keep checking out the stream, check out some of the other streams, other videos. The support really does help kind of grow the channel. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, um, once we hit, yeah, just for the record, now that I've seen this like 3-betting from this guy, even though I saw him like raise this and then shove twice, I think we should definitely have folded that ace king down here now. After seeing just like him cold calling jacks, not 4-betting them, calling nines, like to a pre-flop raise, and then calling again um, with nines against a 15 big blind 3-bet. I think calling against him versus the ace king was probably a mistake for sure. But anyways, back to it. Yeah, once we hit 1,000 subs and we get the first kind of level of monetization, I think we're going to update the stream a little bit, try to add some stuff, maybe get a better camera, get a better microphone, that kind of thing. So we're pretty much on the home stretch there for the first kind of level of it. We're only like 200 watch hours away, which is realistically all that is one good stream. Like if we stream for 10 hours or something, we might be able to just get that pretty quick. But anyways, that's kind of where the stream's at right now. So yeah, make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe button, spread it around, leave some comments. Feel free to chat when you guys are watching. And yeah, once we sit out of these tables, that will be that. We are really going to try to start actually streaming a decent schedule. But again, it's tough to have the time to do that when you're working. Like work full time, right? So I usually leave here between 7 and 8, and then I'm home around 4 or 5, and then, we have dinner, and then we put the kids down, and then we work out for like an hour. So by that time, there's really just not a whole lot of whatever availability, I guess, to kind of put a big long stream on. But even these short streams with a combination of like one big stream a week or something like that on the weekend, maybe even not that huge, even if it's just like a 3 or 4 hour stream, can go a long way. So, but that's that. We are almost back to 8K. We're not going to be looking at stats on the day anymore. It's just a little bit too tilting, and I think it affects your play because the variance is so heavy in poker, right? So it's like if you're looking and you feel like you're destroying the games, and you're running, say you play 2-3 days in a row and you are playing at 20 big blinds per 100, right? You feel great, and then 2 more days go by and you lose a bunch of that, so that your total win rate for the week ends up being like 11 or 12 or 13 BBs per 100, right? Which is fantastic. You should be super happy to have that. So if you only look at your weekly total, Monday to Monday, you have no idea what you're running at, and then you come back and you're like, oh, perfect, I won 13, BBs per 100 this week. You're gonna feel great. However, if you check every day and you go, 20 big blinds on Monday, 20 BBs on Tuesday, 20 BBs on Wednesday, and then you go like -8 on Thursday, -10 on Friday, -10 on Saturday, break even Sunday, you're going to be pissed come Monday when you look at your stats because it's just the way the brain works. You're not going to see that whole uh, the big picture, right? So by forcing yourself to just look on the weekly, when you have the ability to not need to like be really watching your bankroll, um, it's going to be like freeing for your brain, for your mind. Like you're not going to have that stress of it, right? So we're going to try to stick to that. We've done it a few times. Every time we do, there's like, I don't tilt during the sessions. I'm not pissy during the week, um, losing big blinds. Like you have no idea where you're at. You're just kind of playing your game. And if you've been playing long enough, like we know that we can beat these games, but when we downsting, we're still tilted from it. And it's not really um, how it should be realistically, right? Like, you're going to downswing, you're going to upswing. Like you're never in like a straight path in poker, right? You're never at, okay, my win rate's 13 BBs and you just play at 13 big blinds, right? You're like every session you're 25 big blinds here per 100, and the next session you're -30 big blinds per 100, and then you're +10, and then you're -8 in the next session, right? And eventually over the long term it just kind of levels out until you're into your true win rate. So like looking at short term, even a week is pretty short term results, but it's significantly better than checking like every day, every session, every hour kind of thing, right? Um, so we're really going to try to promote that for this channel and just kind of doing things right and moving forward. Like if you actually go back and watch the stream from 130 whatever days ago, you'll see that we started with 2500 and we were playing 4 to 6 tables pretty much always only, right? And we ran up to 10-5, and then we got cocky and we started playing like 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 tables, mixing NL200, NL100, NL100, NL50, and then you can just see that kind of win rate plummet. um, and that's like a big part of what all of our coaches have said is like you need to just play 4 tables, just play 6 tables, just play 3 tables, follow every hand, work on your hand reading and what you're supposed to be doing, and what bluffs does villain potentially have, what are we targeting, like are we value betting here, are we bluffing here, like what are you doing? And when you're playing 12 tables you just can't do it, it's impossible. And maybe like long term, sure, but if you're playing against good players, you're not gonna be able to think through the hands enough, 8 tabling and stuff like that, 10 tabling, 12 tabling, when you move up to like the higher stakes, right? um, and sure, you could argue that autopilot is enough to beat probably NL 100 and maybe NL 200, if you're good enough. Like I'm pretty confident we can 8 table and still turn a win rate easily. We can 12 table probably and turn a win rate at NL 100 and below, but it's not a big enough win rate. And yeah, sometimes when you're 12 tabling with a smaller win rate than 4 or 6 tabling, you can turn an hourly that's bigger. But when your goal is to move up, then you know, who gives a shit about your hourly, realistically, right? You want to have a big win rate. You want to be practicing those skills so that as you move up, your hourly will increase because your stakes will increase and the rate will decrease. And then you can go to NL200, NL500, NL1K, and then move to live and play 5K NL or whatever. Versus just, trying to be a, click bot and manage to collect enough rake. Um, kind of thing. So there's also an argument, against that in the sense that GG Poker rake is really high. So in order to kind of make it more profitable, you should be playing more tables to get up into the higher rake back categories. But again, like if you just burn through the stakes and get to NL200 or NL500, you only need a 6 table and you'll get the 70% rake back within a few months easily, with a steady, grind schedule. So anyways, that's my rant for the day. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Check out the other stream videos. Check out our videos.